everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I'm bringing you a deck centered around Mega Ampharos EX and Electrode from Evolutions. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. Now, as for the question of the day, I think I'm going to have to go with what non-EX from Evolutions, well, non-EX Pokemon from Evolutions, obviously non-EXs include trainer cards, but I mean, that's just getting nitpicky at that point. Which non-EX Pokemon from Evolutions do you think has the best opportunity to make a splash in the metagame? Now, if you had to ask me, I think that there are 3 Pokemon that all have potential. I mean, overall, Evolutions was a pretty lackluster set in terms of competitive viability. I mean, you have Dragonite that could potentially help with Mega Gardevoir and Mega Rayquaza decks, and then you have Brock's Grit, which is a super rod on steroids, which can be nice in some of those similar types of decks. But honestly, I think that there are 3 Pokemon that really could potentially make a splash. Now, I would like to point out that Rattata is an honorable mention for me because it has the ability to discard a Pokemon tool attached to your opponent's active Pokemon when you play it onto your bench. It would be one of my Pokemon that would make the biggest splash if it were discard a tool from any of your opponent's Pokemon, but because it is limited to the active spot, I don't think it will have that much viability. I mean, I know that there's some plays with like Lysander being able to discard tools off of Trubbish before it evolves into Garbodor if you're able to Lysander that in, but let's be real, if you Lysander in the Trubbish and play a Rattata down, odds are you're going to be able to knock out the Trubbish if you're at that point anyway. So, I don't know, that's just my opinion on Rattata, but as for the 3 Pokemon I think have the best chance at viability, first one would be my 3rd place spot, and I would actually say that that is Electrode, because Bazap Thunder, while it does give up a prize, it can work as 2 lightning energy attached to a Pokemon. That is the same as 2 manual attachments, and that's not even your manual attachment for the turn. So I think that Electrode really has some potential. The only problem right now is that there are no particularly competitive lightning Pokemon. I mean, honestly, the more I've tested out this deck, the more I actually really like it, because I think Mega Ampharos is a very underrated Mega in this current metagame because of the guaranteed Paralyze. And I know in my last Mega Venusaur video I said that there wasn't another guaranteed Paralyze. Well, I was wrong. I completely forgot about Mega Ampharos, and I'm not sure how I did that because I really do love this card, and I think Electrode just makes it that much better. So that's why Electrode is in the 3rd spot, because it has the potential to be absolutely devastating when combined with cards like N and Ace Trainer, but at the same time there aren't that many very good lightning Pokemon in the current metagame. And then the next 2 would be Mewtwo and Starmie. Mewtwo at number 2, it has the potential to counter Mega Mewtwo decks, but the only problem is Mega Mewtwo needs 4 energy attached to it in order for it to be knocked out by a DCE Mewtwo. So, I mean, kind of niche, but in some decks it can definitely work. And then the best non-EX in my opinion is Starmie in Volcanion decks, more with an emphasis in Volcanion decks, because Starmie has the ability to energy retrieval with discarding a card. So I mean, it's basically the same as energy retrieval, because when you think about it, you're discarding energy retrieval to get back 2 cards. But energy recovery is always a great option in many decks, so I think Starmie will be seeing a lot more play as the metagame develops, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below and why, and I would love to hear that. But anyway, I've talked for about 4 minutes right now. You guys don't want to hear me ramble, you want to hear me talk about this deck, and then you don't want to hear me talk about the deck, you want to see it in action. But either way, let's talk about the deck right now. Obviously, around Mega Ampharos EX, 220 HP, not particularly bulky in terms of a Mega Evolution, but still a pretty darn bulky Pokemon, with the Excavolt attack, 120, and then you may do 50 more damage and leave your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed. If you do, this Pokemon does 30 damage to itself. So Mega Ampharos has the ability to do 170 damage and leave your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed. Now, the main EXs in the format right now are, well, I guess non-Mega EXs are like Scizor, Mewtwo, Hoopa, all of those guys. I mean, I know that there's like Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise now, but I don't consider those like metagame defining by any means. So Mega Ampharos has the ability to one-shot all of those non-Mega EXs, and then also leave the Mega EXs paralyzed and unable to do anything, to where your opponent has to burn a switch or use stand-in Zoroark or something like that. So Mega Ampharos, very powerful, very underrated. It's just its attack cost that leaves it kind of lagging behind. However, you might notice 2 Lightning and a DCE. Well, what do we know that can give 2 Lightning? That's right, we are pairing it with the Electrode, like I said, with Bazap Thunder. Once during your turn, you may knock out this Pokemon and attach it to one of your Lightning Pokemon as a special energy card. This card provides 2 Lightning energy only while this card is attached to a Pokemon. So, I mean, I don't know what else it would be attached to, but either way, slap a DCE onto Mega Ampharos, knock out your Electrode, play that onto your Mega Ampharos, and boom, you have a turn 2 Gigavolt, which is something that is very hard to compete with. And there have been some situations in testing where I have used my manual attachment for the first 2 turns on DCEs, I've done 2 Bazap Thunders, and voila, I have 2 Mega Ampharoses powered up turn 2, which is very, very, very hard for your opponent to come back from. And then I'm also running 2 Raikou as a non-EX attacker, because Raikou loves having Electrode attack attached as well. And then 1 Hoopa, because, I mean, it's an EX heavy deck, so we want to be able to get these guys out as quickly as possible and Gigavolt as quickly as possible. As for the items, we are running 2 Level Ball to help get out Voltorb and Electrode to be able to use Bazap Thunder immediately, running 2 Super Rod. Admittedly, this is something you can definitely cut down on. In fact, I would recommend that you cut down on it if you use this deck. Get rid of one of the Super Rods and add another Level Ball. This is just me being a little paranoid about having to discard my Electrodes way too early, or having too many Voltorb prized to where I can't properly use Bazap Thunder, and the fact that you're discarding cards with an ability. I don't know, I'm just very paranoid about overly discarding, so that's why I'm running 2 Super Rods instead of just 1. If you do run this deck, I recommend getting rid of 1 Super Rod and then potentially adding another Level Ball, another Lysander, another Lightning Energy, really just whatever you would like. That's just my opinion, and it's completely up to you. Running 1 Switch, just because Mega Ampharos is relatively heavy as well with the 3 retreat cost. I mean, even Ampharos has 2, and so does Raikou, so if they're brought into the active spot and you don't want them there yet, you can just use Switch to get out of there. 4 Trainer's Mail helps a ton with consistency, lets you look for the top 4 cards and grab a trainer card, whether that's a supporter, Ampharos Spirit Link, Rough Seas, anything. That works really, really well. Helps a lot with consistency. 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out guaranteed. 4 VS Seeker to reuse all of our supporters. And as for these supporters, I'm running a very... well, I mean, you have my basic skeleton of the 4 Sycamore, 2 N, and then 1/1 of Ranger and Lysander, except I'm not running 4 Sycamore. I'm only running 3. Why am I running 3, you ask? Well, that is because I'm also running 2 copies of Ace Trainer. Now, I know Ace Trainer has gotten a lot of hate, considering it's a very situational card and you can't use it for guaranteed draw every single time, but there have been a couple combinations with Electrode's Bazap Thunder that have really been amazing, where I Bazap Thunder, get a Mega Ampharos completely powered up by turn 2, and then immediately Ace Trainer my opponent down to 3 cards while I get 6, and then I take a knockout on an EX. So that goes from me, both of us having 6 prizes, to all of a sudden me having a fresh hand of 6, my opponent having a hand of 3, and me taking out their EX. So that is really amazing synergy in this deck. You can do a lot of prize control with Electrode's Bazap Thunder, so that's why I'm running a couple Ace Trainer and the same amount of N, just because these two are very, very strong in this deck, and you just have to make sure you play them in the right order. I've had a couple times where I accidentally will N, and then I will Bazap Thunder, which is the wrong order, because instead of down to 5 cards, your opponent is up to 7 cards, which is not something that you want, and it's really just getting used to this deck and getting used to the flow of it. So that's why we're running the line that we are all in 1 Hex Maniac to shut down things like Giratina and Carbink and stuff like that that can prevent Mega Ampharos from being able to hit it. As for the stadium, running not one Rough Seas, we're running 3 of these babies, because Mega Ampharos, while it can do 170 and leave your opponent's Pokemon paralyzed, it does do 30 to itself in the process. So what you can do is Excavolt, not Gigavolt. I don't know why I keep saying Gigavolt. I think that's Pikachu's new Z move. It is Excavolt, and if I say Gigavolt, I apologize. Excavate does 170 and leaves them paralyzed, but does 32 Mega Ampharos in the process. Well, Rough sees that damage off, and after using Excavate once, your opponent will be in range of an Excavate where you don't have to do damage to yourself. So it's a nice little synergy just between these two cards. We're also running 3 Ampharos Spirit Link to evolve all of our Ampharos into Mega Ampharos, 1 Float Stone just to slap it onto Hoopa or something like that, 4 DCEs to be able to put them onto Ampharos and power them up as quickly as possible, and then only 3 Lightning Energy, because the majority of this deck's Lightning Energy will be coming from Electrode with the Zap Thunder, so you don't need to run that many. But either way, I've rambled for way too long. Let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Omega Man 123 with a Lightning deck, so this could potentially be like Raikou Magnezone or something like that, in which case that would kind of be a pretty bad matchup for us just because Raikou is only a 1 prize attacker and can potentially do a ton of damage. I do start off with a, well, depending on what I draw, it could be a pretty decent hand. I mean, I do have my ideal starter in Ampharos, and I do have a DCE and a Rough Seas and a Shaman, so I mean, it's a pretty solid opening hand overall. Ooh, are we... Oh, this could be so cool if it's like a mirror match. I mean, it could be against a, like a Raikou Electrode variant. It could be up against a Electrode Mega Ampharos variant, but at the same time, then why wouldn't you be running like Shaman or stuff like that? But either way, if it is what I think it is, that could be really cool if my opponent is also running Electrode, because I haven't seen anybody else use that type of deck. And okay, I'm just gonna get some more cards, hopefully get an Ampharos Spirit Link. I do not. That's kind of unfortunate. Gonna go ahead and Ultra Ball, I think. Get rid of the N and the Lightning Energy. Don't need to see that at all to grab an Electrode. Get ready for the next turn. I mean, if I don't get a Spirit Link, I can at very least Sparkling Tail. And yeah, you know what? Play the Float Stone on the Shaman. Why the heck not? If Electrode gets Lysander, or if Voltorb gets Lysandered active, I evolve it and then knock it out and to go back into my Ampharos. So in a pretty good first turn overall. The only thing that I would want is an Ampharos Spirit Link. But, I mean, maybe we'll be able to get it, and we see... Is it a... What the heck? Is this a Pikachu Electro? I don't... Is this like a Raichu Break, maybe? Ooh, Raichu Break Electrode could be pretty cool. Okay, so I have... 1 Mega Ampharos is in the discard pile, and... Okay, it looks like it's just one of those, yeah, it looks like it's just one of those decks where my opponent is trying to complete the daily challenge. Well, joke's on him. I'm going to see if I can get a bunch of... I'm going to do what I can to just get powered up, show you how this deck is supposed to function and start working, and then I will just kind of pause it until the end so you guys don't have to sit through me absolutely destroying a poor little guy who's just trying to complete the daily challenge. I mean, I'm going to go long enough to where you guys see the deck in action, but not too long to where it's like, okay, we get it. You're just running through him and he's not doing anything back. So let's go ahead and play the Voltorb down. Go ahead and Trainer's Mail, get it. Still can't get an Ampharos Spirit Link. Wow, okay. Jeez, do I want to just Ultra Ball for like a Shaman or something like that? You know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and Sparkling Tail, knock out the Voltorb, go ahead and take a prize, maybe get a... Still, wow, 3 Ultra Ball, but I've gone through all 4 of my... Or I've drawn into all 4 of my Ultra Ball, but I still haven't drawn into an Ampharos Spirit Link. That's a little bit unfortunate. Looks like my opponent... Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen him drop an energy. We haven't seen him do much of anything. This is guaranteed a deck that is just going for the daily challenge. So what I think I'm going to do at this point is probably just Mega Evolve into my Mega Ampharos, waste a turn. Even if I don't get a Spirit Link, I want Mega Ampharos up and going just so I can one-shot all of these guys. I mean, it's going to take 2 turns to knock out this Electivire anyway, because it does not have... Well, it has more than 100 HP. So, I mean... Okay, Spirit Link, Spirit Link. Still no Spirit Link. Wow, okay. Just going to go ahead and grab the Pokemon Ranger then. You know, if this was a real deck, we'd be in some trouble. But what I'm going to do, go ahead, Ultra Ball, get rid of the Ultra Ball and the Pokemon Ranger to grab... yeah, there's no Shaman, so let's just go ahead and grab... Yeah, let's grab an Electrode. Why the heck not? Go ahead and play that down. Probably play a Rough Seas. Yeah, let's do that. And then I'm going to Sycamore away the rest of my hand. Hopefully draw into a Spirit Link plus a Mega Ampharos. I mean, I've gone through over half my deck, so statistically you would think that I would do that. Still don't. Wow. Jeez, I'm down to 19 cards and still haven't drawn into a Spirit Link. Oh well, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and play another Electrode down. That way, if I need any more Lightning, I can just do that and then go ahead and Mega Evolve my Ampharos into a Mega Ampharos. And one thing I think that is really, really, really cool that I'm so happy to... They've made the energy attachment that Electrode is literally an Electrode. I mean, if you look at that right there on the Electrode... Well, I guess... Yeah, if you look at that right attached to the Mega Ampharos, you will see that it's an Electrode. It's not like a double Lightning or anything like that. It is literally an Electrode, which I think is so cool to look at. I mean, that's just kind of awesome. And I mean, okay, Great Ball, yeah. I mean, I kept having hope that my opponent had some strategy behind just completing a daily challenge. So, guys, I apologize for this first match. This is not the type of match that I want to show you guys, but I mean, I had such a good hand and such a good setup that I decided, you know what, we're just gonna roll with it. I mean, I'm probably gonna pause this video within the next, yeah, I'm probably, what I'm gonna do is, you know what, screw this, I'm just gonna pause this video right here and then go ahead and come back whenever my opponent decides to either concede or I'm able to take the last couple prizes of a game. So yeah, first off, I mean, I'm just gonna play the DCE onto Electrode just cause, and then I'm gonna Excavate, knock out the Electivire. And yep, gonna go ahead and pause the video right now. I know I've been saying that for like a couple minutes now, or like not a couple minutes, a couple seconds, I would say. I know I've been saying that, but I'm actually gonna do it. So see you guys once this match is over. Yes, I know the match isn't over, but I'm about to do something that I know you guys are going to want to see. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my next to last prize on this Electrode. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to Bazap Thunder onto my own Electrode and take the final knockout of the game with that. So, I mean, yeah, I know that I'm still in this match against somebody who's just completing the daily challenge, but I think, you know what? Electroding onto an Electrode is something that is worth watching, and if you can take the final prize of a game, then that is just style points. So, screw it, we are going for style at this point, and my opponent just draws and passes. That is great for us. Let's go ahead and Trainer's Mail, see... Well, I'll get a VS Seeker, so that's something, I guess. Yeah, I'm just not going to grab anything. Let's go ahead and Super Rod back in, Voltorb and Ampharos. Put those guys back into the deck, switch into my Electrode, and I was kind of going for a Lysander, see if I could knock out the Electric next turn, and, well, see if I could draw into a Lysander to knock out the Electric as opposed to having two-shot something. But you know what? I'm just going to Bazap Thunder onto my own Electrode and then two-shot this Raichu. I mean, my opponent can delay even further if he wants by going into an Electivire. But, okay, let's Shaman. Let's Shaman, see if we can get a couple more, see if we can get a Lysander. Well, there's a Spirit Link. Took you long enough. Let's go ahead and Electrode again. And I could Bazap Thunder, but I'm just going to Headbolt the Raichu for 70 damage. Guys, just letting you know, you never ever want to be attacking with Electrode. This is a very, very bad idea. And yep, my opponent just does that, so you know what? Let's go ahead and... I'm going to Bazap Thunder again, put a second Electrode onto an Electrode, have all four of my Electrodes in play, and yeah, just go for the overkill with Headbolt, and Electrode was able to come through completely clutch in a game that was never really a problem at all. But either way, I know that was kind of a boring game, but I still wanted to show off Electrode actually taking a prize, something that it is never going to do in this deck except in situations like this. So I wanted to give it its little time in the spotlight. So I apologize for that. Let's just go ahead and try to find another one, see if we can get a real match with this deck. Already we have found another one against CPL Martian. Okay, this looks to be a much better match than we had previously. I mean, this looks to be a Mega Mewtwo Garbodor deck, so if I can get my Electrodes set up quickly and attach them to my Mega Ampharos, then I think I really do have a shot in this matchup. So we do win the coin flip. That means we get to go first. That is great for us. And let's hope we start with a good hand. Ooh, which we... Start with a very... Oh, wow, voice crack. Start with a very solid hand. I mean, the only thing I would like more is a Mega... I mean, even just a Mega Ampharos in place of the Ampharos would be fine with me. I would obviously like a draw supporter, but... Well, I mean, we're going to get some mulligan cards, so that is great. And then this matchup is kind of bad for Mega Ampharos, just because a Mega Mewtwo with any more than 2 energy on it will be able to knock us out if we are fully powered up. However... The prize trade is actually pretty solid for us, so I think whoever takes the first EX knockout will be in a position to win this game. So what I am going to do, play the Raikou down just because, and my opponent starts with Mewtwo, that is fine. I'm going to go ahead and level ball, grab an Electrode, or not an Electrode, a Voltorb. I already have an Electrode into play. Play that sucker down, play the Spirit Link onto the Ampharos, play the DCE onto it, and then I think I'm just going to end my turn. I could definitely Hoopa for a Shaman to draw some more cards, but at this point I'm going to Hoopa for a Mega Ampharos and a Shaman, and that way it'll net me more cards in the Shaman with the Shaman overall, because I'll be able to play down the Mega Ampharos and the Electrode. And my opponent just attaches a Spirit Link and a... Oh, he ends me. No, I liked my hand, please. Why must you end me? Well, I mean, either way he won't be able to do a Shatter Shot this turn, and I get an N. This, okay. So I need to draw into a Mega Ampharos or some way to get it. I have an N, so I should be able to draw into 6 more cards, which should give me an out to be able to get a Mega Ampharos. And I will also slowly be able to get an Ampharos powered up in the back, which is pretty cool. I can slap the DCE onto it and then Bazap Thunder later. If my opponent's able to get like a turn 2 Garbodor, then I'm going to be going kind of all in on 1 Mega Ampharos, which could potentially be very problematic if I don't get it set up in time. But either way, my opponent is just going to go ahead and Hoopa, probably grab a Mega Mewtwo as well as a Mewtwo and then a Shaman. I would think that would be the combination of cards he's going for. Yep, Mewtwo, Mega Mewtwo, and Shaman. And actually, he put his active Mewtwo in a lot of trouble, because if I can get a Mega Ampharos next turn, I'll be able to knock that guy out. I'll be able to knock it out completely, get rid of his Spirit Link and his DCE, and I kind of wish I had another Voltorb up, that way I could double Bazap Thunder and get 2 Mega Ampharos powered up instead of just 1. But, I mean, I'm still in a good enough position, and yeah, my opponent is just going to Shaman, draw some more cards, and my opponent, his board's looking pretty good. This could definitely be problematic for us. What I might have to do is Lysander in that Garbodor later, if that becomes enough of a problem, or if my opponent seems to be getting a Mega Ampharos setup. Because what's kind of nice actually is a regular Ampharos can one-shot a Garbodor with Sparkling Tail. So I mean, that's not what you want to be doing, but is definitely an option later. But honestly, if I have a Lysander, I might just go for a Shaman. And I do get a Rough Seas, so let's go ahead and counter that Stadium. Play down the Ampharos, play down the DCE. I have nothing in my discard pile, so I'm going to go ahead and Electrode, and then I'm going to go ahead and N. And guys, I did it. Crap, I did it. I did that in the wrong order. Again, I said in the beginning that I didn't want to do it in the wrong order, but I went ahead and did it. So now my opponent's going to get 7 cards as opposed to 5 cards, which is what I originally wanted from that N, and is why I'm running N and Ace Trainer in this deck. So dumb play by me, but then again, I mean, you guys know me. You guys know that I don't actually know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna Zap Thunder onto the Ampharos. I mean, yeah, my opponent will get an extra card, so he's gonna be at 2 more cards than he should have if I had played it in the right order. But that's honestly, that's just getting comfortable with this deck, and is something that, I mean, yeah, it's annoying, but it's not the absolute end of the world. I will be able to end him next turn, but it also ends me in the process. And I have a Voltorb that I could Super Rod back, but I think I'm just going to Shaman. Hopefully get another Voltorb into play to where before my opponent can get another Electrode in. Okay, I drawn 2 Super Rods. That is not what I wanted, but I will actually be able to take a one-shot on this Mewtwo with my Ampharos. I mean, I'm going to do 30 to myself. That is completely fine. Taking 2 prizes, my opponent has nothing set up. I mean, he needs Spirit Link, Mega Mewtwo, and a DCE, and a Mega Turbo in order to knock out... Actually, no, at this point he only needs Spirit Link DCE because I did damage to myself. Oops. So let's hope he doesn't have Spirit Link, Mega Mewtwo, and a DCE, although with 8 cards, odds are he's going to get it. And okay, so he has Ultra Ball. He has the Float Stone for his Trubbish, so what's he going to do? Okay, he's just going to go for the Garbodor. That is fine. Actually, that'd be really awful if he did have DCE, Spirit Link, and Mega Mewtwo, because then I would just cry, because I'd be dead, and my only means of attacking would be completely shut down and gone. So let's hope... Oh, he has a Skylock. Oh no, is he going to find the Spirit Link? If he Skylocks for the Spirit Link, I'm dead. Like, there's nothing I can do. Yeah, he Skylocks for the Spirit Link. Oh boy, does he have the DCE? Moment of truth, guys. If he has the DCE, we just lose. So Spirit Link onto his Mewtwo, evolves into Mega Mewtwo, and 2 more cards. Does he have the DCE? Does he have it? If he has it, we lose. If he has it, we completely lose. Actually, okay. Oh, he didn't have it, and I think... Okay, so I thought that he just slow rolled the heck out of me, and I only have 2 N in my discard pile, so there's nothing really worth playing at this point. I mean, I'm gonna DCE onto the Shaman, I guess. Just in case I need a Sky Return or something like that, might as well not waste my manual attachment. Gonna go ahead and paralyze this Mega Mewtwo. I mean, he obviously couldn't have not Mega Evolved because that would prevent him from being able to, well, that would have allowed me to knock him out and then just be a Lysander away from winning the game. He is going to Shrine, get rid of my Rough Seas. That's fine with me. And honestly, there's nothing he can do. Never mind. Okay, he's going to end me. Well, he's going to get 5 cards as opposed to 6, which is great. If he manages to find the DCE and a switch, I still lose. But at this point, we'll at least have gone down swinging, and I could potentially Ace Trainer my opponent next turn if he does find what he needs to knock out this Ampharos. And Electrode's actually coming through clutch again. Oh, we see the DCE. Do we see the switch? If we see the switch, we are screwed. But like I said, Electrode was coming in very clutch because not only is he providing energy for my Ampharos and looking really cool as an energy card in TCGO, but he's also preventing my opponent from getting very good ends. I mean, my opponent is only getting 5 card as opposed to 6 card, and you might not think that that's too big of a difference, but I mean, think of it this way. It's the difference between a... what is it the difference between? It's a difference between a Shauna and 6 cards. I mean, right now, my opponent essentially played a Shauna, and I was about to be able to knock out the Mega Mewtwo and be 2 prizes away from winning, and no matter what my opponent went into, he would be really screwed, because if he went into the Garbodor, I could start setting up another Electrode to Bazap Thunder onto my Ampharos on the bench. If he went into Hoopa or Shaman, I'd be able to one-shot those guys and win the game, and I guess my opponent really didn't have anything because it seemed he had a very dead hand off of that end, so Electrode just came through absolutely clutch. I know that Mega Ampharos was the MVP in terms of damage, but Electrode is such an underrated support Pokemon right now. I think that it has the potential to be a very good Mon and a very good card in the right deck, assuming that, you know, not electric lightning, assuming lightning gets a little more love. But thank you for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.